the Indians, Africa is home for the Africans, and Australia is home for Aussies. White Australians, we need a home.
This country was built by our ancestors. It was bled for by our ancestors on the beaches of Gallipoli, in the bushes of Kokoda. They bled for a white Australia.
I don't know which part of this whole protest that's more embarrassing, the fact that this protest actually took place, or the fact that they let a neo-Nazi, racist, white supremacist take the mic, or not the fact that he said that, 14-year-olds should be of legal age of marriage. Did you guys know this? And Australia was never a white country, given it had a black history of 65,000 years of continuous culture. Hate and racism has no place in this society, and all of you who attended this rally, embarrassing. Yesterday, we witnessed far-right hate and extremist views being mainstream on the mainstream media, where we see hateful neo-Nazis leading rallies, speaking in mega microphones, launching attacks at people, attacking sacred, indigenous campsites, and terrorizing people within our streets and within our community. This is not the Australia that we all call home. This is hate being disguised as concern. We saw and witnessed the most disgusting part of it happen in Melbourne, where they attacked people, they threw slurs at people, they told them to go back to where they came from. They also went to a very much sovereign campsite of indigenous people and attacked them there, which shows that this protest was not about peacefully coming together, but it was just another way for far-right extremists to normalize their hatred for people that do not look like them. The silence for our government and obviously the political leaders is defeating, especially within our community and everyone that has directly been affected by this yesterday and who continuously experience the results of discrimination, hate and racism on a daily basis. This is not the Australia that we want to be part of, and it's a reminder that hatred, white supremacy has no place in Australian society.
We tried to warn you. We told you that the organisers behind yesterday's rally were racist. They were white supremacists. Some of them were exceptionally wealthy, trying to incite hatred amongst middle class and lower class people, and you still went. So it's very interesting, we are the adults now, we're the millennials, we're young enough to have energy to do something about it, but also old enough to have intelligence and discernment. When our kids get older, they're going to ask us a question, and it's up to us to decide what that question is going to be. They're either going to say, why didn't you do something to prevent this happening to Australia? After August 31st happened, why didn't you guys unite together to make sure that this country was better for everyone? Or they're going to ask us, how did you guys find the courage to stand up for what was right? It's up to us. What's that question going to be?
Alright guys, welcome back to Hosting Stories KE, and today's episode we want to look at the outcome of what really happened yesterday on the 31st of August march, which the Australian people or the white Australians were dubbing it as March for Australia or Take Australia Back. And guys, according to what we are seeing on internet, the other side of what the media won't show you, guys, I can confirm and ascertain to you that things are not pretty at all in Australia right now. So we've seen very, very, very unpopular things, very bad things happening. A march that was supposed to taking Australia back turned to be a march against immigrants, an anti-immigrants march. The white supremacists were showing this and they couldn't hide it anymore. We've seen the Nazi leaders and the neo-Nazi group breaking into camps like the Sovereignty camp in Melbourne. We've seen some of them even writing on their t-shirts, export the immigrants now, take them back to their country. We demand mass deportation. We've seen this on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. We've seen these people really fighting and overpowering the police officers, the National Guards. We've seen them because even the Parliament building was barricaded with police officers. But these people are like overpowering them, chanting, no more immigrants. Take the immigrants back. It turned out to be so unfortunate because it was a march that was supposed to be a cry for the things that are happening in Australia. A demand for change, a demand for solution of the housing crisis, a demand for better living standards in Australia. But unfortunately, it turned out to be a march that was led by white supremacists demanding for mass deportation of immigrants, an anti-immigrants march. But I don't live in Australia. I just saw this on the internet. So let's confirm this from the people who really live in Australia, from the people who saw what really happened in Australia, a point of view from the people who are, some of them are immigrants who are residing in Australia, and here is what they saw.
This is a screenshot from a video of self-proclaimed neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sewell and his goons violently attacking an Aboriginal sovereign camp in Melbourne, Australia during yesterday's nationwide protest against immigration. Let's get one thing very clear. Without immigration, this country you call Australia would crumble. The infrastructure that you claim is being overwhelmed by immigration would not exist without it. The problem has and will never be immigration. The problem is greedy capitalists who not only control the market but benefit from it. If you want to protest against the cost of living, then do that. If you want to protest against greedy capitalists, go for it. But do not use black and brown immigrants specifically as scapegoats. Secondly, you can't claim to be proud Australians without acknowledging the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. This is the only group of people who have ethnic ties to this continent. The rest of us migrated here from somewhere else at some point in time. Anyone can be Australian, anyone can be a proud Australian. It is not your ethnicity, it is your nationality. It does not have a colour. As for these degenerates that attacked the peaceful Aboriginal camp unprovoked, might I add, I hope the police get you before karma does, because I know mob do not play when it comes to their elders, their women and their children who were all present at this camp when you violently attacked them. This is a national disgrace that the Aussie media aren't even reporting.
This video goes to all of the people that attended the 31st of August White Australia protests, anti-immigration protests. This is for all of you guys. I just wanted to say that you guys, you can have your little protest, you can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, immigrants are not going anywhere. You can say what you want to say, oh, go back to your country. No, I'm not going anywhere. We all have just as much of a right to be in this country as anyone else. If you're proud, there's nothing wrong about being proud of being white. If you live in this country and you're a white person and you're proud of yourself, that's absolutely fine. Go ahead, be proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself. It's a beautiful thing. If you're white and you're proud, it's a beautiful thing. Be proud of being white. That should not be at the expense of anyone else. Just because you are proud of yourself, it doesn't mean that you are better than anyone else. If every immigrant left this country, your quality of life would plummet. There is simply not enough skilled workers, not enough doctors, surgeons, all of those, people there's not enough to go around in this country. There's not enough. Secondly, you have been lied to. The reason why you're poor, the reason why your life isn't going the way that you had hoped it would go or the way that you want it to go has nothing to do with immigrants. You're looking at the complete wrong person. Especially of all days today where there's so much to actually be protesting. There's so much going on right now in the world in terms of the billionaires and in terms of the wealth inequality in this country, in terms of the way Australia is using our resources to fund wars and bomb other countries. There's so many things in this country that we should be outraged about, that we are justified in being outraged about. This is not one of them. The whole immigrants are ruining the country is a lie, and you fell for a scam. The real people that you should be angry at is Rupert Murdoch and the Murdoch media, who's been spreading lies for decades about the wealth inequality in this country. It is people like Gina Reinhardt and her family that hoard their wealth. Australia is based on natural resources, Australia is one of the wealthiest countries, and all of that wealth has been siphoned into the pockets of a handful of wealthy billionaires. Gina Reinhardt, for example. Be angry at people like that. The whole immigrant thing, it's just a scapegoat. It's just a lie used to distract you. Don't fall for it. The whole thing is just designed to build fear in immigrants I'm not scared. Other immigrants are not scared. If you, don't be scared to walk around, live your life. These people have no idea what they're talking about. They're extremely misguided. They don't represent the majority of Australians. They're just like a handful of weirdos, losers, uninformed, misguided, losers, sorry. To all those people protesting, this whole thing is such a non-issue. Me and people like me are not a threat to you, and I don't know, you just look dumb, you look threatened by immigrants for some reason. And on top of that, you can go on the streets and say, oh, white is right and white pride. I don't even know. I just have no idea what you guys are even saying, so maybe I should look into it. But at the same time, I have no interest in looking into it. And I just think that, yeah, you can tell immigrants to go back to where they come from. I'm not going anywhere. If you are still unhappy, you can cry about it. I actually don't care.
So if all the immigrants went home tomorrow, your life wouldn't be any better. You'd still have that shit job. You still wouldn't be happy with yourself, still wouldn't be happy with your relationship, wouldn't be happy with the body you have. Nothing would change for you. Every problem you have in your life would still be the same. Blaming them is just a scapegoat instead of blaming yourself and taking action and facing up to your fears. But if they did all go home, your life would change. There'd be no Turkish barbershops where you go for your haircut every weekend. There'd be no different restaurants to try. Everything would just be English breakfast. You wouldn't have your different cuisines that you enjoy trying out. And also, a lot of restaurants and businesses would struggle without them because, unfortunately, there are a lot of English people who won't work certain jobs because the wages are only minimum wages and they're long hours. But a lot of immigrants will. So really, your life would be no better if they all went home. So start focusing on yourself. Stop putting the energy into them. Work on yourself more. That was always going to be the only way your life would get better. Blaming them, putting all your energy into external problems is a waste of time and a waste of your life. Start taking action, sort your own shit out, and you won't have to worry about anybody else.
So today, after the anti-immigration rally, neo-Nazis attended Camp Sovereignty in Naarm, aka Melbourne, where they violently attacked women and men while children were present. They tried to vandalise the site while they were attacking people that weren't even protesting. They were just sitting at camp peacefully. It's reported that women were getting kicked in the head on the ground repeatedly by groups of men, resulting in big gashes in the head and having to result in going to hospital. Now, no police were on site, and it took police roughly 15 to 20 minutes to get on site after this incident had occurred. Community was so in fear for their life that they had to do a call out on social media and Facebook to try and get community and mob to come out and help fight this battle ourselves, because that's how horrific this scene was. I attended Camp Sovereignty tonight to drop off food to mob and just to check in to make sure everyone is okay. I want to thank my deadly non-Indigenous allies that were there today and that helped protect our sacred country and help protect our mob and our people. Now, this video is not just about talking about what happened today. I'm here to expose these neo-Nazis. Now, here we have Timothy Holger Lutz, aka Timmy, Mr. Neo-Nazi Man. Now, this week, Dog, yep, I said Dog, used to run a boxing gym in west of Melbourne in 2020, trying to recruit youth to become neo-Nazis through the sports of boxing, where the membership and the gym got closed down. Now, I'm yet to find out the identity of these two, but if anyone recognises these faces, please tag them below, drop a comment, share it to their work, share it to their friends and family. Here's a closer look at this hero. Yeah, good on you, mate. I bet you're really fucking proud of yourself. If you are an immigrant in this country, you are welcome here. As a First Nations woman, you are welcome in this country. You have a spot and a place in this country. This gronk, not so much. deport him back to England or wherever the fuck he's from. Please stay safe across Australia, look after each other, be wary and cautious at this point of time, because I feel like this is just the start and I don't feel like there's going to be an end to this anytime soon. So please just be careful and look after one another.
I don't care what you say. If you attended that march yesterday, then you seriously need to take a look at yourself. I find it appalling that you guys believe that you are defending this country from what I don't know. But a group of neo-Nazis after the march yesterday attacked Sovereign City and beat Aboriginal women and men. So whether you have a neo-Nazi ideology or not, you're guilty by association. You're also bloody uneducated. Because if it wasn't for the immigrants, you wouldn't be living the life that you're living. This country's built on immigration, including your own, if you're not First Nations. And you bloody should be grateful to be here. All the information that you spout about the number of immigrants that are coming into this country is absolute bullshit. And I don't think any of you are educated enough to understand how difficult it is to get into Australia. How expensive it is to apply for a visa. And I just want you to consider that you wouldn't be here without the immigration policies. Because if you're not First Nations, you're a fucking immigrant. There's been plenty of times I've been appalled about things in this country, and it usually comes from the right-wingers and the Liberal voters. But wake up to yourself. You won the human fucking lottery being born here. Instead of being full of angst and anger and carrying on like a pack of pork chops, maybe you should just be grateful. Because gratitude to me is not about what you have. It's about what you haven't had to endure. And people that immigrate to this country are looking for what you have. Safety, an ability to earn a wage, to live in a beautiful country. So for fuck's sake, get over yourselves. It also astounds me that generally the group of people that start this kind of crap are white men. You are losing your power. And maybe these are the death throes of you refusing to share the stage with anybody. But the world is changing, and what you're doing is trying to hold it back. The Anzacs would have been appalled at you. Absolutely appalled. The amount of empathy they had, the amount of care for other human beings. That is our culture. Mateship, acceptance, tolerance. Not this racist bullshit you people go on with.
Well, according to me, this is the third episode I'm talking about Australia. And all the episodes have been revolving around this march, the anti-migrants, the neo-Nazi groups, all the white supremacists calling themselves a march for Australia or taking Australia back. But in reality is, as things turns out, we were right all along. It was a march against immigrants, an anti-immigrants march. The white supremacists saw an opportunity of using Australians to express their demands. You see, They are saying, we want these immigrants to go back to their homes. But in reality, the Australians, some of them understand very well that we really need these immigrants for our day-to-day activities here in Australia. And they don't want something to happen like the things that are happening in the United States right now. The United States people demanded for mass deportation, and especially the MAGA supporters really demanded for mass deportation. And Donald Trump gave them that. 2 to 6 months later, we are seeing MAGA farmers crying they don't have immigrants to work in their farms. We've seen massive employees crying and saying they're going bankrupt because they don't have immigrants to work for them. So when these things turns back to Australia, it will be the same case. But unfortunately, the neo-Nazi groups, the white supremacist groups, the liberals, saw this as a chance to use the white Australians, confusing them and convincing them that indeed we are marching for Australia. We are taking Australia back. But in reality, it was in their own best interest. Because if it was supposed to be a peaceful protest, then we shouldn't have seen all those violent activities that happened. And some of them were being led by the neo-Nazi leaders. They really broke into some facilities. The sovereignty camp in Melbourne. We really saw the violence. Some women injured, children, some men beaten up because they are not Australians. They are not white Australians. But what they should also understand is that Australia is a multicultural country. It can't exist with Australians alone. There must be other people, other foreigners, other indigenous groups in Australia to coexist, at least build Australia. I don't think another march will be prudent, especially of the outcome we've seen. The only solution, if it was very genuine that these people are targeting to march for Australia, then they shouldn't have used the terms they were using, like export the immigrants now. Like we want our white Australia back. Australia belongs to white Australians. No. We also have brown Australians. We also have yellow Australians. We also have some colored Australians. The Australian people intermarried with other cultures, other indigenous people. We have also black Australians who are really citizens of Australia. So if you come to tell us, because you were the organizers of this march, and tell us that you want white Australia back, it is so unfortunate that you won't get white Australians back, because when the Australian people realize that you are using them, they'll also fight against you. And I believe majority of the Australians have now realized that these white supremacist groups and these neo-Nazi groups were just using them to pass and possess their own self-interest. And I think in future, if you have such a march, it will have agendas, but not pressure driven with white supremacists and the neo-Nazi group. You do tell me what you think, especially if you are living in Australia. Tell us what was your outcome. If you really went onto that march, what was the outcome? What did you realize? Did you regret going to that march? Or what were you targeting to achieve? And so far today is on the 1st of September, of course. The march happened yesterday. What have you achieved so far? Tell us. The comment section is open for discussion. I think you should just tell us what you think. Then another Australians will come and support you on the comments or either oppose you. And if you are new here, remember to subscribe this channel so that you don't miss out in the next discussion such as this. See you in the next one, guys, and adios. Subscribe or you are a racist.